So, Mike, how did you become a Christian?
Well, I grew up hearing the gospel, thinking that I believed the gospel, and recognized when I started to become a little bit more of just independent, around 11, 12, 13, 14, that time where you start becoming who you're going to be. And I realized, man, I don't live the way that I know that the scriptures say I ought to. I say that I'm a Christian, but angry, mouth is foul, manipulative, self-absorbed. And when I was on a vacation with some extended family, I we were visiting Italy. Our family's Italian American, and I was like looking at some of this, beautiful creation. I was experiencing some the joys of sort of society and community in ways that I hadn't, and just got convicted by the fact that, I say I'm a Christian. I know enough to know that God gives these good things, and I don't live in a way that fits that. I don't live in a way that answers those blessings. And so I sort of sat thinking one night, looking up at the stars out the window of the place that I was staying in, and just going, God is so kind to me, and I am not at all concerned with Him. And I would say that at the time I thought I was going to, we got to get serious about this. We've got to start making faith a more important thing. But when I did that and started reading the scriptures and paying attention in church, it wasn't long before I realized, okay, no, what happened there was Romans 2:4. God's kindness was leading me to repentance, really for the first time, and that what it means to be a disciple of Christ, a believer in Jesus, isn't just what you say, what you think. It's your whole being turns from sin and follows after Him. And so repentance, genuine repentant faith, was right around the time I was almost 15. And from there, started reading the scriptures, going to church, paying attention, going to the senior high youth ministry, getting discipled, and that's where things changed.
Yeah, brilliant. And how soon did you feel the call into full-time Christian ministry?
Well, soon after that, I was reading the scriptures for the first time and going, aren't we all supposed to be itinerant ministers then? Like, I mean, isn't this just... And so I think that was the beginnings of something, where I was trying to learn what it meant to follow Jesus faithfully. I got chances because I was saved, out of, some pretty significant darkness. I saw who I was very starkly from who I ought to have been. And so I was just excited. I was, people use the phrase on fire. I was very much enthused with Christ. And so when people are excited about Jesus, especially young people, they give them opportunities to teach far too soon. And I got those. And so I started thinking, well, I'm teaching, I'm edifying people. At least I thought I was. And so I started thinking, like, is this something that I should be doing? And as I grew, as I pressed into church and I, came under the authority of elders and things like that, they all would say, that's really great, but don't say that part again. You know what I mean? And so I started realizing, there's a lot to learn, but I'd like to learn that, and maybe I could be a benefit. But I recognized when I was 17 and trying to think through what I wanted to do in college, I recognized an immaturity there, and I thought, let me go and make sure that I can do something that I could make a living at, in case if I ever decide to try to pursue becoming a pastor, and for whatever reason I'm not called or I don't have that opportunity, I need to be able to support a family. So let me be able to make a living at something. And so I went to Rutgers. I'm from New Jersey, so I went to Rutgers University to be a foreign language teacher. I taught Italian, and so I did that. But in that time, college, undergrad, and I did a master's degree. During that time, I had opportunities to continue to serve in my church and growing in understanding, and corresponding growing in desire to be a pastor, to be a proclaimer of the word, a minister to Christ's flock, till the point that it got to be constraining. And I sought my elders out and said, I want to go to seminary. What do you think? And they said, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. I was going to ask you what you would have thought you would have done if you didn't go into Christian ministry. So an Italian language teacher, right?
That's what I did do.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up speaking Italian, but that trip to Italy when I, sort of was arrested by the kindness of God set me on a trajectory of studying the Italian language. There was a little bit of, personal heritage and interest in that. I was always good at languages too. I had studied French well enough in a couple of years to be able to interact with some family members in Italy in French because they couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak Italian. So I naturally, God gifting me with languages and just a desire internally to sort of study that. I kind of looked at myself when I was almost 18 and said, well, what do I enjoy doing? And the reality is I enjoyed Italian and I enjoyed teaching people stuff. So I felt like, well, that's
Yeah.
a place to go. I don't know if I could have done everything over again if I would have chosen to do that, but I'm glad that I'm doing this.
Yeah, sure. So can you play soccer like an Italian, Mike?
No, absolutely not. I played soccer when I was from 4 years old to 8 years old, and I was terrible. So I took up baseball.